What's up everyone, my name is Kayla and this is Yoga and Strength with Kay. Today's practice will consist of two different types of yoga. The first one being power yoga, so we'll get our heart rates going, we'll get sweaty, tired, get that good workout in, and then after we'll have more yin or restorative style of yoga where we'll focus on the meditative and deep stretch aspects as well. So excited for you guys to be here. Please hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned for more videos coming out in the future. I'll be coming out with videos every single week, videos for full body strength, yoga for energy, for better sleep, for self-love, gratitude, etc. So without further ado, let's get started. Meet me in a comfortable seated position with your hands on the ground, your knees, or in prayer, and let's take a few cleansing breaths here. On your third inhale, lift the shoulders up as if you're trying to touch your ears, and on an exhale, roll them back and down, creating space in the chest. Then place one hand on your heart and the other on your belly, taking the next few moments to focus on your breath. Feel the rise and the fall of your belly. Notice how the breath flows through the body. The breath is your anchor into the present. If you find yourself wandering off at any time throughout the practice, just return to your breath. On your next inhale, reach your arms above your head and let the hands come into prayer. On an exhale, place the forearm on the ground and reach over to get a side body stretch, keeping the opposite hip anchored to the floor. Come back to neutral with your hands above your head, and let's do this twice more on the same side. On your next inhale, come back to neutral and lay your other forearm on the mat, anchoring both hips to the floor. Feel the elongating of the body. Come back to neutral and let's do this twice more. Coming back to neutral, we'll bring our hands in prayer. In this next breath, we'll exhale with a sigh, a signal of letting go of what no longer serves us, reminding ourselves that this is our time to be fully immersed in the present moment. Make your way to tabletop pose, making sure your wrists are stacked underneath the shoulders and the knees are stacked underneath the hips. We're going to be moving through some cat-cows. On your inhale, arch your back, shift your gaze to the ceiling, open up the heart space, and on an exhale, round the spine and shift your gaze to your belly button. As you do this a few more times, be sure to be conscious of your breath, making sure it is aligned with your movement. Here you can continue moving through your cat-cows or maybe invite some free movements. I'm doing hip circles, but feel free to do whatever variation might feel good in this moment. When you're ready, meet me back in tabletop pose, and then lift your knees, shift the hips up and back, draw your chest to the knees, downward dog. If you're feeling tight in the hamstrings, I invite you to walk out your dog, bending one knee and then the other. Come to stillness in your down dog, and if you can't get the heels on the ground or your legs straight, that's perfectly okay. Shift the weight forward into a plank position. Take an inhale here to prepare, and on an exhale, lower all the way down, chaturanga. You can modify this pose by placing your knees on the floor. On your next inhale, lift the body back up into plank pose, and then place the forearms on the ground, forearm plank. From here, we'll move into dolphin pose, which is like downward dog, but with the forearms on the ground. Keep moving through this transition of dolphin pose and forearm plank a few more times, shifting the feet as needed. Remember to engage the core here and know you can always come back into child's pose if you ever need to take a break. From your forearms, press yourself up into a straight arm plank pose, and then shift your weight back into downward dog. Once again, shift back into plank pose, and then lower down for chaturanga. On an inhale, press the floor away for plank, keeping the core engaged. And then exhale, meet me back in downward dog once more, and then step or float to the top of your mat. Take hold of opposite elbows and let the head hang naturally, releasing all tension in the neck. Here you can shake side to side, maybe nod your head yes, or nod your head no. Whatever feels good in this ragdoll position. When you're ready, bring your hands to meet the ground and forward fold, attempting to meet your chest to your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift, draw the shoulders together and keep a flat back. Come down to plank position, slowly lower down chaturanga. Turning the toes under, inhale and lift the chest and arch the back for cobra or up dog, and then press the floor away, downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts up to the sky. Exhale, plant the foot in between the hands. With your hands still on the ground, lift the chest first, and then come up for warrior one. On your next exhale, come into side angle pose, resting your forearm on your knee and reaching your other hand up and over your head. Stay here or bring the arm resting on your knee to meet the floor, or take a bind if that's in your practice. Come back to resting the forearm on the thigh, and on your next inhale, keeping position, lift both arms off the body, hold for 3, 2, 1. Meet me in warrior two for a moment, and then flip the hands for reverse warrior. If you want to take a half bind, you can reach your back arm back and around your body to meet the inner hip. Then cartwheel the hands to the ground and step that leg back for plank. Inhale to prepare, exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, lift the chest, flip the toes under, push away the floor, cobra pose. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg reaches to the sky. Exhale, plant the foot in between the hands. Chest lifts first and then come up strong and with control for warrior one. Exhale, extended side angle pose. Once again, feel free to stay here or move the hand to the ground or take a bind. Wherever you are, make your way back to extended side angle with a forearm on the thigh, and then lift the arm and keep the position. Engage the core here and hold for 3, 2, 1. Arms extend for warrior two and flip the hands for reverse warrior, taking a half bind if that feels good for you. Cartwheel the hands to meet the mat and step the front leg back to meet the other leg in plank. Inhale here to prepare and exhale, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, chest lifts, toes curl under, press away the mat for cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, come up onto your toes, have a generous bend in your knees, and exhale, float to the top of your mat. Inhale, rise in a squat position with your feet together and hands in prayer, Utkatasana or chair pose. Inhale to rise, exhale, Utkatasana. Inhale here, and exhale, twist to the right, making sure that the knees stay pressed together. Stay here or extend the arms in the twist. Inhale to neutral in prayer, and exhale, twist to the other side, staying in prayer or extending the arms. Inhale back to neutral, and then slowly lower down in the squat until your bottom reaches the mat. With your legs out in front of you and a subtle bend in the knee, start to lean back and lift the toes off of the floor. Feel the core engage here. Then let's straighten the legs and come back to a bend. Let's move through this transition a few more times. On your next inhale, return to a bend in the knees and reach the arms out in front of you. In this boat pose, lower one leg straight while keeping the other one in position, and continue altering back and forth. Then lower the body to the ground and start to rock and roll the body until you get the momentum to stand up at the top of your mat. Forward fold and hold opposite elbows, ragdoll pose. We're going to be moving through one more vinyasa before we get to the yin portion of this practice. Take any movements that feel good in ragdoll. And then release the hands from the elbows to the ground, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Shoulders draw back, the spine is straight. Exhale, forward fold and step the legs back into plank pose. Inhale here to prepare. Exhale, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, chest lifts, toes curl under or push away the floor, cobra pose. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, plant the right foot in between the hands. Inhale, chest lifts first, come up for warrior one. Exhale, side angle pose. Staying here or extending the arms or taking a bind. Back in side angle pose, lift the arms up for just a moment and exhale to warrior two. Flip the hands for a reverse warrior, maybe taking a half bind. Cartwheel the hands around to meet the mat, plank pose. Inhale, hold. Exhale, chaturanga, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg reaches high. Exhale, plant the left foot in between the hands. Inhale, chest lifts and come up for warrior one. Exhale, side angle pose. Stay here or extend the arms out or take a bind. Coming back to side angle, lift the arms for a moment to engage the core, and exhale, warrior two. Inhale, flip the hands, exhale, reverse warrior, maybe taking that half bind again. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat, stepping the legs back into plank pose. Inhale to prepare, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, and exhale, move through tabletop into child's pose. Take a moment here to congratulate yourself for getting through the physically demanding portion of today's class. Allow yourself to relax and rest. When you're ready, join me back in tabletop pose and press back into downward dog. Come up on your tippy toes, bend the knees, and float to the top of your mat, this time landing in a wide-legged squat, with your feet outside of your hands about mat width distance. Bring your hands together in prayer using your elbows here to press against your knees, opening the hips. On your next inhale, come to standing, hands rise above the head, and then rest by the sides. From here, use the opposite side of your mat and come into a wide-legged stance with a micro bend at the knees to avoid overextension. Place your hands on your hips and halfway fold. Hold here for one breath, and then release the hands from the hips to the floor. Take whatever movements feel good. I'm doing these little pulses to help my body ease deeper into the posture. I also welcome you to try reaching behind and under your body, and then try pulling the floor in towards you for a more intense stretch. If you need to, heel toe the feet closer together to come to standing. Then shift your weight to your right leg and lower for half squat, letting the foot on the elongated leg rest on the heel, Skandasana. Inhale back to wide-legged stance. Exhale, Skandasana on the other side. Move through these transitions at your own pace. When you're ready, fold into a wide-legged stance once more and come into frog pose. Make sure that your knees are below the hips, and here you can sit upright with the hands underneath the shoulders, lean forward and come onto the forearms, or extend the arms fully out in front of you. Begin to walk your hands all the way to the right side of your body for a twist. And then all the way to the left side of your body. From here, push yourself up and come to tabletop. Sitting back on our shins with our hands in prayer, let's take another cleansing breath here. On an inhale, rise to lift the bottom off of your feet, and then reach your left hand behind you to meet the left ankle. If this is enough of a stretch, you can stay here or come into full camel, circling the right hand around the body to meet the right ankle. If you are in full camel pose, keep the left hand on the ankle and circle the right arm off of your ankle to come out of the pose safely. Come through tabletop pose into child's pose. Next, come into your downward dog and raise the right leg, and then bring your right knee forward towards your right wrist and release the legs for pigeon pose. Experiment with what ankle feels good for you here. You should be feeling a stretch in the outer hip. On an inhale, lift the chest, and on an exhale, come into neutral to the forearms or to sleeping pigeon. This pose may cause some discomfort both internally and externally. I invite you to be mindful about these thoughts and physical sensations and approach them without judgment. We store a lot of trauma in our hips, so stretching out our hip flexors is a core part of the healing journey. This phenomenon helps us truly to understand the interconnectedness of our mind and bodies. Lift your chest first and then unravel the bent leg, coming back into downward dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee to wrist, pigeon pose. Inhale, arch the back, open the heart, and exhale, stay in neutral, or come to your forearms or extend the arms fully out in front of you. When you're ready, come back up to neutral and then circle the back leg around the body and over the front leg for cow face pose. You shouldn't be sitting on your heels here. If you are, this may mean you need to place a block or blanket under your bottom for extra support in this pose. Take one breath with hands in prayer. Stay here, or if you want a more intense stretch, bind the hands together behind the back and exhale, lean forward to the right side, letting your arms fall naturally. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, fall to the left side. Uncross the legs and then recross them on the opposite side. Stay here or take the bind again with the hands and fall to either side. Unravel the legs and bend your left leg, bringing it in close to your body for a seated spinal twist. The left elbow presses against the left knee and the right arm reaches behind the body. Switch the positioning of your legs and press the right elbow into the right knee, and then reach the left arm behind you. Make your way to a reclined position. Bend your right leg and place it over the left leg, half lotus. Straighten the left leg and reach through your bent leg, grabbing your lower thigh or behind your knee with both hands, pulling the leg in towards your chest. Exhale, release, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So bend your left leg and place it over the right leg, half lotus. Straighten the right leg and reach through the leg in lotus and bind the hands behind the knee or thigh, once again pulling the leg to your chest. Then bend your knees into your chest, flex your feet, and then take hold of the outside of your feet or the big toes and spread your knees apart, bringing them in towards your body for happy baby. I also welcome you to move side to side or forwards and back in this pose. Lift the chest, burrow the head in the knees, and give yourself a big hug, whispering a soft thank you to your body and for all that it does for you. Exhale, begin to recline with windshield wiper legs, letting the legs fall to the left side, keeping both shoulders anchored to the ground. The arms come out in a T. Turn your head and shift the gaze to the right. Inhale, legs come up to neutral. Exhale, windshield wiper legs on the opposite side. The head turns and the gaze shifts to the left. Still lying down, bring the soles of the feet to touch in a diamond shape for reclined butterfly. Stay here or begin to wiggle in the shoulders, creating space between the back and the mat and opening the heart space. Slowly come out of the pose into a comfortable reclined position for Savasana. You can place your palms up for giving or receiving energy, or down for grounding, where you can place one hand on the heart and the other on the belly, feeling the rise and the fall of your breath. It's important to remember that our thoughts are just visitors. They come and they go. They only become persistent when we attempt to control them or avoid them. If any thoughts come up, approach them with compassion and let them pass naturally. Start to notice the sensations around you. Maybe you feel a soft breeze on your skin or the soft fabric of your clothes. Maybe you hear the passing of a train or traffic, soft music or a loved one in the other room. As you practice this mindfulness, you might notice that your mind and body are coming into complete stillness. This is the authentic experience of existing in the present moment. If you'd like to remain in Savasana longer, please do. If you're ready to come out of this final pose, start to wiggle your toes and fingers, and maybe invite some wrist rolls. On your next inhale, reach the arms up and over the head, flex the feet, elongate the whole body for a good morning stretch. On your exhale, turn to your favorite side in fetal position. The head can rest on your arm, and your free hand comes to the ground. Whenever you're ready, use the grounded hand to push yourself up and come to a comfortable seated position. Hands come in prayer by the heart. And let's take 2 full breaths here, in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then wrap your arms around your body to thank yourself for showing up today. Inhale, arms come up and over the head in prayer. Exhale, the thumbs press in between the eyebrows or your third eye. The light in me honors, acknowledges, and loves the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today in this practice, and I hope to see you again in the next video.